CreepyCorner stories.
Hey folks, before we dive into tonight's stories, I want to give a huge thank you to Kieran Tibbetts and Lisa Collin for supporting the channel and being amazing members. If you'd like to help me keep creating these stories, feel free to become a member. It really helps the channel grow. I'm planning to continue exploring more than just the dark web tales, so if you enjoy what you hear tonight, you're in the right place. Now, grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's step into another amazing night with you and me together. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. It means the world to me and helps keep the horror alive. And tell me in the comments, what kind of story hits you the hardest? The ones that feel too real, or the ones that could actually happen to someone you know? I thought the dark web horror stories on Reddit were fake, until I found my username in one of them. Alright, I don't usually post on Reddit, like ever. I just lurk, read creepy stuff late at night when I can't sleep, then close the app and convince myself I'll stop doing this before bed. But this is different. If something ever happened to me, I wanted people to know why. I'm not claiming this is supernatural or some Slender Man type story. Nah, this is very real. Too real. And it started off like one of those dumb internet dares. You know, I spent 24 hours in a haunted Chuck E. Cheese or some nonsense. But I swear on everything, I didn't go looking for anything. It found me. And I think it still is. So, it started back in July. Just a normal Friday night. I was bored, scrolling TikTok at like 2 a.m. You know those creepy iceberg videos that show levels of internet you're not supposed to access? Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole hard. One dude mentioned this site that apparently indexes safe entrances into the deep web. Nothing illegal, mostly just weird forums and archives. Curiosity killed the cat, right? Well, I'm the cat. I followed this sketchy-looking YouTube link someone dropped in the comments. Yes, I know, I'm an idiot. And it took me to this page with a black background, red text, typical horror aesthetic. Looked like one of those fake sites made for an indie horror game. But it had a search bar. That was it. Just a plain search bar with a blinking cursor. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I typed in my own Reddit username. I expected an error, maybe some meme result or a troll message. Instead it loaded an entire thread, like a real Reddit-style thread, and the title, Upcoming Deaths, Observations and Orders. The first post in the thread was dated 3 days ago, and it read, U/synthghost, location confirmed, Seattle, Washington. Order placed. Watching phase active. Expected execution, 72 hours. Target is unaware. Now, I froze. Like heart-thudding, actual goosebumps kind of froze. I thought maybe it was a joke. Maybe someone pulled info from my profile. I don't post a lot, but yeah, I've mentioned my city once or twice. So maybe it's some elaborate ARG. But then I scrolled. There were dozens of usernames, all real. I checked. I clicked random ones and found their Reddit profiles, active, casual users. One had just posted a picture of their dog a few hours ago. Another was asking about credit card scams in the UK. Some were marked, execution complete, timestamp attached. Others were labeled, watching paused. Target relocated unexpectedly. Order cancelled. User suspended from project. Project execution. It felt like one of those moments in a horror movie where the music stops and everything zooms in. I closed the site immediately and cleared my history. I shut down my laptop, tried to laugh it off, told myself it was just someone screwing around. But when I checked again the next morning, it was still there, and the timestamp had changed. Expected execution, 48 hours. I told my roommate, Kevin. He's the kind of guy who thinks everything is fake until it hits him in the face. He said it was just a prank, probably a creepypasta generator or something. He even dared me to go back on it and type his username in. So I did. Nothing. See? He said. It's tailored. It's fake. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept imagining someone standing in my doorway, like actually standing there, not moving, just watching. At one point, I swear I heard footsteps in the hallway. I even got up and checked, thinking maybe Kevin was messing with me. He was snoring with headphones on. Nothing in the hall. That next day, I started getting weird DMs on Discord, all from random accounts with no profile pictures, the kind you immediately block. One just said, "Do you feel watched yet?" Another came through while I was in the Starbucks line. Tall mocha, 2 pumps vanilla. Good choice I hadn't ordered yet. I was still in line. I left the line and practically sprinted out of there. I even spilled some poor girl's iced coffee on my way out. She yelled something, but I didn't even look back. When I got home, Kevin was gone. Normal. He works late shifts at Amazon downtown. I locked the door. Deadbolt too. Drew the curtains. Turned every light on like that would help. And then I did something really dumb. I went back on the site. Same thread. My username still there. Expected execution, 24 hours. You ever have that feeling like your body already knows something horrible is going to happen before your mind catches up? That was me, standing in my kitchen at 2:39 a.m., staring at the slip of paper under the door. Expected execution, 3 hours. It looked like it was printed on receipt paper, the kind they give you at McDonald's, only the ink was slightly smeared, like it had been spat out fast by an old printer. The handwriting wasn't even handwriting. It was typeset, like someone automated this message, like it was scheduled. I didn't touch it. I backed away like it was going to explode. The deadbolt was still locked. The chain too. No sound on the other side of the door. But I swear, the second I exhaled, the door creaked slightly inward, just enough to suggest someone was leaning into it. That's when I noticed something I didn't see before. A strip of black tape, about an inch thick, stuck along the side of the door frame. Almost invisible, unless the hallway light hit it just right. It wasn't sealing the door shut. It was measuring something. I pulled out my phone to take a picture, but the screen stayed black. Fully charged a minute ago. Now nothing. Wouldn't even vibrate. No service. No light. Nothing. I felt cold all over. The kind of cold that doesn't come from weather. The kind of cold you feel when your body is trying to play dead, like it thinks it'll survive if it just shuts down. I made a decision. Not a brave one. A scared one. I grabbed my keys, shoved my laptop into my bag, and went for the window. We live on the second floor. Not that bad. There's a narrow alley behind the apartment with some dumpsters. I figured I could jump down, maybe twist an ankle, maybe not, but better than waiting for 3 hours to be up. I opened the window. There was already someone standing there. Not a shadow, not a hallucination. A person, right below my window, arms at their sides, head tilted up like they had been waiting for me to look. Not wearing black, not a hoodie. That would have made it less terrifying. honestly. They were wearing a Starbucks apron. Not kidding. The green kind. Name tag read MEL, except the letters weren't handwritten. They were carved in, scratched into the plastic, like with a knife. Their mouth didn't move, but their chest was heaving, like they were holding in something. I slammed the window shut and locked it. When I turned around, swear to God, I heard typing coming from inside my apartment. I've got one of those MacBooks that makes a subtle click when you type. It's a distinct sound. Someone was in my bedroom. I pressed my back to the wall, tried to breathe quietly. My knife was still in the kitchen drawer. A dumb little fruit slicing knife. Not helpful. I grabbed a lamp and walked down the hall. My bedroom door was cracked open about 3 inches. I left it fully shut. I'm obsessive about it. Always shut my doors. Inside, I could see the faint glow of my laptop screen. I heard one more click, then silence. I pushed the door open slowly. There was no one inside, but my laptop was open. On the screen, there was a single notepad window with a message typed in all caps. You chose to run. Then another line appeared while I stood there. But this isn't about choice. Another. This is about design. And then the laptop shut itself off. Not sleep, not idle. It full-on powered down. The kind that takes actual effort. It made the sound, did the fade, and went black. I backed out of the room. That's when I noticed it. My bathroom mirror. There was a symbol drawn on it in something dark. Not blood, before you assume. It looked more like rust, like someone dipped a nail in corroded water and drew an eye. One big, empty, almond-shaped eye with a horizontal slit for a pupil. Around it, tiny scratch marks, like tally marks. 4 vertical, 1 diagonal. There were over 50 of them. I didn't stay. I ran out of the apartment. No plan. Just gone. Every stair creaked like it was screaming for someone to come grab me. I felt watched from every apartment window. Curtains moving. Phones pointing out, maybe. One neighbor's door creaked open an inch, and I heard a voice whisper, "You weren't supposed to see it." I got to my car. It started. I drove. I didn't care where. Gas station, motel, another city. I just kept driving with the feeling that if I stopped, they'd be waiting. 3 hours later, I pulled into a roadside Denny's just outside Olympia. 24 hours, bright lights, normalcy. There was a couple inside, a trucker eating hash browns, one waitress. I ordered coffee and sat with my laptop. It wouldn't turn on, completely bricked. So I asked the waitress if they had free Wi-Fi. She said yeah, gave me the code. I pulled out my phone, now working again, mysteriously, and opened Reddit. Went to check the thread. It was still there. Same title, same usernames, still mine at the top. U/synthghost. Surveillance incomplete. Extraction failed. Target escaped primary zone. Then a new comment appeared. As I watched. Contingency activated. A second later, I got a notification on my phone from TikTok. The account that sent it was named at Contingency Room. No followers, no bio, just a video. Thumbnail. A paused frame of me, walking into the Denny's. Exact hoodie, exact shoes. I clicked play. The video was taken from across the parking lot, from inside a car. It showed me stepping inside. Then it held for another second. And then it panned to a dark figure standing in the woods across the highway, motionless, holding something long in their hand. Then the video cut to static. The lights in the Denny's flickered. Once, then twice. The trucker in the booth behind me stood up and walked toward the bathroom. Except he walked weird. Too straight. too stiff, and when he passed by me, I saw his eyes weren't moving. They were painted open. I'm not kidding. Like someone had physically drawn eyeballs on closed eyelids. I left. I ran out again, back to my car. But before I could start it, a bag was already sitting in the passenger seat. I didn't put it there. Brown paper, no label, just folded neatly. I opened it. Inside was a VHS tape labeled Room 303, a Polaroid of me, sleeping in my bed from the previous night, a lock of hair, my hair, same dyed blue tips, and a piece of cardboard with 3 words carved into it. You're in the room. I looked up. The Denny's, the parking lot, the gas station across the road, gone. There was only fog, thick, grey, unnatural, like it rolled in the second I read those words. My headlights didn't cut through it. My windows fogged up in seconds, and on the windshield I saw it, that same eye symbol, drawn in condensation from the inside. I tried driving, didn't matter where. GPS refused to load. Everything just looped. Gas stations appeared, then disappeared. Roads turned into gravel, then into dirt, then back into pavement again. No signs, no exit ramps, just fog and that symbol everywhere. Eventually, the road ended, just stopped, at a motel, crumbling 70s style, flickering neon sign barely hanging on the building. Welcome back, room 303. I didn't choose to walk in. It was like something pushed me forward. At the front desk, a woman sat motionless, head down. Her face had been replaced with a mirror. I could see my own terrified reflection. She handed me a key. I didn't speak. Neither did she. Room 303 was at the end of the hall. The carpet squished, the wallpaper peeled. The door was already open. Inside, there was no bed, no bathroom, no lights, just a chair in the center of the room, facing an old tube TV, already on, and on the screen, a live feed of me, standing in that exact room, except, in the video, there was someone standing behind me. I don't remember walking into the room. I don't even remember stepping through the doorway. 1 minute, I was staring at that open door, trying to convince myself not to go in. And the next, I was inside. The air felt off, thick, like breathing through warm fabric. There was no bed, no bathroom, just concrete walls and the chair. The old CRT television sat in the corner, humming louder than it should have. The screen flickered between static and the live feed of me, standing there, from behind. Except, I wasn't alone in the frame anymore. There was someone behind me in the footage, not moving, not touching me, just standing, watching, my breath fogged in front of me. I turned around so fast I nearly collapsed from the adrenaline spike. No one, but the feed stayed the same. In the live video, the figure remained. A tall man, or something person-shaped, with one hand raised, just slightly, holding what looked like a surgical light, or one of those old-school recording devices. But it didn't make sense, because even though it was behind me in the video, I couldn't see it. The static cut in harder. Then something flashed in the lower corner of the screen. A red banner. Words. Surveillance complete. Observation mode. Off. And then something new. Below it. Session 1/6. Initiated. Progression begins. I didn't wait to see what that meant. I bolted. The hallway was darker than when I entered. Not dimmer. Darker. Like the light wasn't being blocked. It was being eaten. The ceiling buzzed with that low, sickly, electrical hum. I sprinted back toward the front lobby, the mirror-faced woman at the desk still frozen in place. But this time, there were others behind her. 3 people, or figures shaped like people, standing in the darkness, lined against the back wall like mannequins, perfectly still, wearing clothes that didn't fit right, a Starbucks apron, an Amazon vest, a McDonald's hat. Each one had no face, just flesh where features should be, smooth and silent, and all of them were facing me. I didn't scream. Something deeper kicked in, like a survival switch. I backed away, turned, and sprinted down the hallway. Every door now had a number scratched into it. Every door, endless rows, infinite. I kept running, tripping, knocking into the walls. My vision was starting to blur, like it couldn't render what was around me. I picked one door, any door, and kicked it open. It was my childhood bedroom. Same posters, same closet, same stuffed bear with one eye missing on the bed. There was a phone on the dresser, a chunky Nokia from the 2000s. It rang. I didn't want to answer. I did anyway. "Do you remember what you did to the bird?" the voice asked. My throat went dry. That memory. I hadn't thought about that in years. I was 8. I'd found an injured bird in the backyard. At first, I tried to help it, but it wouldn't stop chirping. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. I snapped. I did something I shouldn't have. Something cruel, and no one ever found out. Except now, someone had. "We all remember what you do," the voice said. "Nothing is ever lost here. Not even you." The room changed. The walls started melting, peeling like skin. The posters bled into the walls. The carpet turned black. And the bear, that stupid bear, started screaming in a sound that didn't come from its mouth. I ran. Back in the hallway, the lights were off. Every light. Only the exit sign at the end remained lit. A faint red glow. I ran toward it. As I got closer, I noticed the hallway was getting narrower, like the walls were closing in. The carpet turned to tile, then to cold metal, and then I reached the exit door. I shoved it open. It was a warehouse, endless and cold, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The floor was wet, smelled like chemicals and burned plastic. Dozens of monitors lined the wall. On each one, a different live feed. One screen showed my apartment hallway. Another, Kevin's room. Another, my old high school locker room. Another, a live TikTok feed from someone's For You page, showing a smiling teen lip-syncing to an Olivia Rodrigo song. And in the corner was a monitor showing me, still, from above. I looked up. There was no camera. Still, the monitor changed, zoomed in, on the back of my neck, and then a new window popped up, glitchy, as if someone had logged in remotely. Authority verified. Progression 2 out of 6. Dissection. The room locked. A screech of metal rang out behind me, like a surgical tray being pulled too fast. I turned. There was a table in the center of the warehouse now. Strapped to it, not moving, was me. Another version of me. Eyes wide open, but lifeless. Tools hovered above the body, suspended by nothing. Scalpels, bone saws, rib spreaders. No doctors, no arms, just floating. And they started moving, cutting, and I felt it. Every slice. Even though I was standing 10 feet away, I dropped to my knees. My chest burned. My skin stung. My ribs ached like they were being pried open. And the version of me on the table, eyes locked on mine, began crying. Not screaming, crying. Tears of thick, black ink poured from the corners of its eyes. "You're not supposed to exist separately," a voice said behind me. I turned. It was Kevin, but not Kevin. He wore the same clothes, but his jaw was broken, hanging loose, like someone tried to stretch it into a smile. His eyes were hollowed out, just meat and bone. He stepped toward me. "You didn't finish your sequence." That's why you're breaking. That's why we're all breaking. And then he reached into his own chest, pulled out a tape, labeled Room 303, Session 3/6, Familiarization. He shoved it into my hands and whispered, "Play this, or stay here forever." I don't remember what happened next. I woke up in my car, parked in a garage I didn't recognize. Engine running, trunk open, headlights off, no one around. I was holding my phone, new video file saved, no title, just a timestamp. I played it. It showed the warehouse. Except now, it was empty. Just the table, the tools, the tape, and one chair sitting in the middle, facing the camera. On the chair was a mannequin with my face stapled onto it. I looked in the rearview mirror. There was tape on the back of my neck, black like duct tape, with something written in red marker, Session 4/6, Substitution. I peeled it off. Underneath was a scar, fresh, still bleeding. I haven't gone home. I don't think I exist in just one place anymore. I think they fractured me, split me into pieces, sessions. Each room I enter, each door I open, something continues. Something keeps building toward that sixth session, and I don't think anyone's made it that far. There's a kind of silence that feels like it's watching you. Not peaceful, not calm. More like the air is holding its breath, waiting for something to shift. That's what the garage felt like. That's where I woke up, holding my phone with that video of myself, or the thing wearing my face, just sitting in a chair, staring. It didn't blink. Not once. I sat in my car, doors locked, lights off, shivering even though the windows were fogged and the heat was up. I didn't remember getting here. I didn't remember leaving the motel. And the worst part, I didn't remember what part of me was still real. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, checking if the eyes I saw were still mine. Every time, they looked a little different, a little more hollow, too wide. Slight twitch in the left lid, as if something behind it was watching me. I opened the glove box. Inside was a cassette recorder, the kind you see in interrogation rooms in 90s crime documentaries, with one tape already inside. The label? Session 4/6. Integration. Do not listen alone. I didn't press play, not yet. My phone buzzed instead. New email. No sender. Subject line: You shouldn't have skipped Session 2. The body of the email was blank, except for a .jpeg attachment. I opened it. It was a picture of me in the garage, taken seconds ago, from outside the driver's side window. My heart skipped so hard, I thought it stopped. I turned. No one. Nothing. Just thick fog pressed against the windows, like it was breathing. That's when I saw it. A person, standing on the edge of the garage, in the exit tunnel. Still. Slouched slightly forward, like they'd been standing too long. Same Starbucks apron as before. Same stitched name tag, MEL. But this time, there were more. 5, 10, maybe more. All wearing clothes of people you'd pass on any street. Target polo, high school varsity jacket, lift hoodie, TSA badge, Popeye's uniform, nurse scrubs. All standing in complete silence, facing my car. And none of them blinked. I floored it. Didn't care if I hit something. The car peeled out of the garage and into a street I swear to God hadn't existed before. Looked like New York, but warped. Buildings too tall, streets too narrow, signs written in English but spelled wrong. Like Starbucks, McDonald's, Jugal headquarters, visitors, please smile, Amazon fulfillment tower, deliver yourself. Every storefront had mannequins in the windows, posed like customers, eating, laughing, holding phones to their ears, and every mannequin had my face, identical, my expression, my eyes, frozen in the exact same moment of fear I had the night I first saw the livestream in room 303. I had nowhere to go, so I drove and drove until the road turned to dirt, then to gravel, then it just ended right in front of a warehouse. Not a warehouse, the warehouse, same as before, but this time the door was open. Inside, darkness, and just one thing glowing, a television, not a monitor, not a feed, a television, wheeled in on one of those carts from middle school, buzzing with static. On top of it, the tape recorder from my glove box, cassette already in. It hit play by itself. The voice on the tape wasn't mine, not entirely. It was close, familiar, but too steady, too scripted. Session 4 begins now. You are not here by accident. You are here because this version of you was chosen to integrate. Then the screen lit up with a phrase. Who are you? It lingered, buzzing slightly, then repeated. Who are you? Then again, overlapping now, like a chant. I covered my ears. It kept going. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Then the voice on the tape changed. It sounded like my mum, but I knew it wasn't. She said, you were born in blood. You were hidden in wires. The real you has already been used. I opened my eyes. Standing in the middle of the room was my mom, or something pretending to be her, but her arms were too long. Her smile was carved in, skin pale like rubber, and she was dragging something behind her. It was a second body. Me, again, naked, breathing, but eyes sewn shut. She dropped it at my feet, then whispered, make a choice. The lights cut out. I don't remember screaming, but my throat burned. When the lights came back on, I was in a bathroom stall, a public one, the kind you see in airports, scratched steel, sticky floor, bad lighting. Something was written on the inside of the door in blood. Do not speak to the one that knocks. I was shaking. Then, 3 knocks. I held my breath. Then, a 4th knock. Different. Slower. Like it was waiting. I looked under the store door. There were bare feet, dirty, pale, 5 toes, but they were facing the wrong way, like someone was standing backward or wasn't built right. I looked away. The door swung open. Nothing there. I walked out into the airport, but it wasn't SeaTac, not LAX. Nothing normal. It was somewhere else, an endless terminal, no windows. All the screens were black. People moved like luggage on a belt, straight paths, same pace, no blinking, no speaking. Every face had an open smile, but dead eyes, and every few seconds, a speaker crackled overhead. Now, boarding session 5 of 6, gate 303. I ran. Gate 303 was the only gate in the whole terminal, and sitting at the gate desk was Kevin. He turned to me, eyes bleeding from the pupils, and said, "You're running out of versions." Then he handed me a mirror. I had no face, just blank skin, and written across it, in deep surgical lettering, were the words, observed, recorded, erased. I blacked out. I woke up in my apartment, but something was wrong. Everything looked the same, at first, but there was no reflection in my mirror, no dust on the furniture, no Kevin. The calendar on my phone said October 20th, 2029. 4 years had passed, and every app was gone except one, a single icon on my home screen, all black, label, session 5/6, inversion. I tapped it. It opened the Reddit thread I found at the very beginning. Same title, same list of usernames, but now I wasn't on the list anymore because I was the one posting the newest update. You/us motel underscore observer underscore 303. New subject selected. Observation active. Execution window 6 days. Subject you/your underscore username. Location access confirmed. Session status awaiting upload. Do not check your username. Do not reply to this post. And whatever you do, do not click the black icon. But now there was a new comment below it. Target attempted avoidance. Surveillance maintained. Order confirmed for manual extraction. I'm telling you, I felt sick, like actual nausea. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. I slammed my laptop shut and started packing a bag. I didn't even know where I was going to go. Just not here. Before I could zip it up, my phone buzzed. New notification. Instagram DM. From an account named at observation.unit underscore 013. It said, "Don't run. We don't like when you run," and attached was a photo of me, standing at the Starbucks line, taken from behind, but close, like too close. I could see the little tear in the shoulder of my hoodie. I could see the time on my Apple Watch, 10:14 a.m., the exact moment I was in line. That was 2 days ago. I haven't left my apartment since. Kevin still hasn't come back. I tried calling the police. No answer. Not even a wait tone. Just a long beep, then silence. Tried calling my mom. It went straight to voicemail. I even checked Reddit for help and posted on r/tech support, but my post got auto-deleted instantly. Then I tried r/no sleep, and the post wouldn't even go through, like the site itself refused to accept it. And here's the thing that made my stomach twist so hard I thought I'd throw up. When I tried to log into my Reddit earlier today, I got this message. This account is already active on another session. Location, Bucharest, Romania. I live in Washington. I've never even left the country. I finally made this throwaway account just to get this out, in case anything happens to me. I don't know how long I have left. Just now, I heard a knock at the door. Not a normal knock. You know how you can feel when someone's just knocking to be polite? This was different. 3 hard knocks. Precise. Almost mechanical. And now, there's a note slipped under the door. It says, "Expected execution, 3 hours." There's a moment in the spiral, deeper than fear, where your brain just lets go, where nothing surprises you anymore. You stop asking questions like, "Why is this happening?" or "Where am I?" and start asking, "What am I now?" Because I don't think I'm a person anymore. I don't think I've been one for a while. I'm something else. And so are you. I stared at the post. You/your underscore username. It was just sitting there in the thread, right below mine. Not a theory, not a glitch. The exact same username you're using right now to read this. That's not some ARG twist. That's not a narrative trick. It was already there. And I don't know if that means I'm in your system or you're in mine. But what came next broke whatever was left of the part of me that still thought this was a nightmare. The post updated itself in real time. I watched the text type itself across the screen. Session 6/6. Completion requested. And then, last known observer has been inverted. Subject has become environment. I dropped my phone. Literally just let it fall. I felt something move through the floor. Not under it. Through it. Like pressure in your skull before a storm hits. Then the walls of my apartment started changing. Not melting. Not folding. Just remembering. They started to remember other places, other times. I watched the corner of my living room, morph into the hallway of the motel. My bathroom door turned into the store door from the airport. My kitchen slowly slid into the moldy yellow tiles of the warehouse's dissection room. Every time I blinked, something else changed. There was a tape recorder sitting on my couch now, humming, alive. Another tape inserted, the final one. Session 6/6, completion. The tape clicked, then a voice came through. Not mine, not Kevin's, not even human. It was a chorus, thousands of overlapping whispers, breathing in unison. It said, "You are no longer a name. You are the place it happens." I turned to run, didn't make it 5 steps. My hallway extended, stretched out like it was on an infinite reel. Doors appeared on each side, all closed. I opened the first one. Inside was Kevin, strapped to a chair. But this version of Kevin was smiling, content, still. He looked directly at me and said, "You brought me here. You always do." His face peeled back in layers. Not blood, not gore. Just pages, sheets of paper, coming out of his skull like a printer jam from hell. Each page had a different version of the thread, different usernames, different logs, every single one ending with the same words. Execution confirmed. I shut the door, opened another. This one showed me, or something pretending to be me, walking into the same McDonald's I used to go to every Thursday night on the way home, ordering food, sitting, waiting, then looking directly at the security camera, like it knew I was watching, and mouthing the words, "You're watching yourself end." I backed away, turned around. At the end of the hallway, a new door had appeared. Room 303, but not like before. This one wasn't part of a motel. It was part of me. I could feel it, like a memory waiting to be remembered. A door I had locked behind my eyes when I was too young to name it. I opened it. Inside was the project. It was never a place. It was never a website. It was a system, a ritual, a behavioral machine built to convert humans into observers, and observers into recordings, and recordings into rooms. We are the rooms. We are the data. We're not people. We're content. You think room 303 is a motel? It's not. It's a template, a digital imprint of psychological terror refined through thousands of iterations, a place that doesn't exist until someone sees it. And when you see it, you build it. With every click, every scroll, every time you read a story like this and feel scared but keep going, you're recording yourself. I stepped into the center of room 303. The walls lit up with screens, all of them showing you. Yes, you. Sitting right now, reading, scrolling. I saw your room, your screen, your hand on the mouse, the phone screen dimming every now and then when you stop moving. I saw your reflection behind you, not moving. You turned to check, didn't you? That's how it works. The room listens, the room learns, the room needs you to witness. There was a final message on the wall, projected in red. Subject complete. All sessions successful. Final state, environmental conversion. Welcome, room 303. And beneath it, a mirror. I looked in. I wasn't there. There was just the room, and a tape recorder sitting where I should be, with a new tape already labeled. Session 1/6. New subject selected. The name written on the label. Your username. I don't know what I am now, but you. You're next. The thread already knows you. Your location's confirmed. Your observations started. They're not after you. They're inside you. You're not reading a story. You're completing a cycle. And the last tape, the final session, is already uploading. Close this window. Go ahead. turn your phone off, pull your hoodie over your head, block it out. But when the knock comes, and it will, just know, it won't be on your door. It'll be from inside the mirror. And when you hear it, don't look. Don't. I found a dark web job, listing for night guard at an unnamed facility. They told me not to look at what I'm guarding. Alright, so this might sound fake, but I swear on everything I love, this really happened. I know how that sounds. Every time someone starts with, "I swear this is real," you're already thinking it's a made-up creepypasta. But just hear me out. This isn't one of those stories where some guy goes exploring abandoned places for clout or ends up in a ghost town after a dare. I wasn't even looking for anything scary. It just found me. Let me start from the top. I'm 24. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, in a shared apartment with 2 roommates who are rarely ever home. One's a DoorDash driver who basically lives in his car, and the other spends more time at his girlfriend's place than here. So most nights, I'm alone, working late freelance gigs, or wasting time on Reddit, TikTok, or whatever rabbit hole YouTube throws at me. Back in July, I got laid off from my remote tech job. Ever since, I've been scrambling to find something to keep my bank account from completely dying. You ever feel like you're just one missed rent payment away from sleeping in a Walmart parking lot? That was me. So, late one night, like 3:40 a.m., I was deep in a YouTube binge session. You know the kind. I went from watching cooking fails to a video about 5 real footage clips that shouldn't exist. One of them mentioned the dark web. Now, I've heard about it before, obviously. It's not some mythical place anymore. Everyone has that one friend who claims they ordered LSD or fake passports off there back in high school. But I never had any reason to go looking. But in my jobless, sleep-deprived haze, something about it pulled me in. Not for drugs or anything like that. I was just curious. Like, what if there's some weird job board on there? I don't know what I expected. Maybe some hitman meme listing or sketchy Bitcoin offers. Definitely not what I actually found. So I watched a guide on how to access it. Got a VPN, downloaded Tor, all that stuff. And after a couple hours of digging through absolute garbage, scammy sites, broken links, and bizarre message boards, I found it. A plain site, black background, white courier font. Just said, anonymous contractual work, verified. There was a drop-down list of services you could apply for. I clicked on security/surveillance. Another page loaded up with one job listed at the very top. Job title, night guard location, undisclosed pay, $5,000 per night. Requirements, no phones, no questions, no direct eye contact with the subject. Instructions, transport provided. Do not bring personal belongings. Applied below. I know what you're thinking. Dude, no one would ever apply for that. But $5,000 a night. And the listing had something about it. Like it wasn't trying to convince me. Just there. Quiet. Almost clinical. It didn't ask for a resume or anything. Just a name and availability. And I did something stupid. I typed in my burner email and hit send. Not 5 minutes later, I got a reply. Subject, welcome. You have been selected for tonight's watch. Your transport will arrive at 10 p.m. sharp. Location, redacted. Do not speak to the driver. Do not look at the subject. You will sit in room B and monitor camera 9. If the subject moves, press the green button once. Payment will be wired by 4 a.m. if instructions are followed. Do not look at the subject. No address, no signature. Just that. I don't know what kind of brain fog I was in, but I didn't even hesitate. I cleaned myself up, threw on a hoodie, and just waited. At 9:57 p.m., a black SUV pulled up outside my apartment. No Uber logo, no license plate, just clean and silent, like it had materialized out of nowhere. The driver never rolled the window down, just unlocked the doors. I climbed in. The ride was dead silent. Windows tinted so dark I couldn't see a thing outside. The seats were spotless, but the whole car smelled faintly of bleach and something metallic, like pennies. I wanted to check my phone, but remembered the email. No personal belongings. I left it in my drawer back home, turned off. We drove for what felt like an hour, maybe more. No music, no lights on the dash, just road vibrations and that strange, almost hospital clean smell. Eventually, the SUV stopped. The driver didn't say anything, just waited until I stepped out. I found myself in front of a tall, windowless building. It looked like one of those tech warehouses you see near airports. Unmarked. No signs. No graffiti. Just gray concrete walls and a single red door. The door opened automatically when I approached. Inside was a long, narrow hallway lit with this weird, flickering, fluorescent light. The kind that buzzes like a dying fly. Every few steps, there was a security camera mounted in the corner, tracking my movement. The walls were painted this sickly beige color, like an old hospital from the 70s. A voice came through a speaker somewhere above me, completely robotic. Room B. Sit. Monitor. Press green if it moves. That was it. I followed the hallway until I reached a steel door labeled B. Inside was a small control room. One chair. One desk. One monitor labeled Camera 9. The screen showed a dimly lit concrete room. No furniture. Just a person, well, something human-shaped, sitting perfectly still in the middle of the floor. Knees up. Arms wrapped around themselves. Long, tangled hair covering the face. They didn't move. Not once. At first, I thought it was a test. Like maybe it was a mannequin or something. But after about 10 minutes of staring, I saw it breathe. Slow. Shallow. Inhale. Exhale. Then something even weirder happened. The timestamp on the camera glitched for a second. Then a different room flashed on the screen for maybe half a second. I couldn't tell what it was, but it was blue. Just a deep, rich, unnatural blue that flooded the screen. Then it was back to camera 9. I stared for another hour. The thing didn't move. Then, around 1:13 a.m., it lifted its head. Not all the way, just slightly. Enough for me to see a glimpse of its face through the hair. Or rather, what should have been its face. There weren't any eyes, no nose, no lips. Just smooth, pale skin, like someone had erased the entire front of their head. I froze. I didn't press the button. I didn't move. I barely even breathed. Then, like it sensed me watching, it tilted its head to the side. Just a little, like a curious animal. And despite not having eyes, I knew it was looking at me. Through the screen, through the camera, like it could see me. Then the monitor cut to static. All white noise. A second later, the door behind me clicked. Someone, or something, was trying the handle. I didn't move. The voice from earlier came through the speaker again, louder this time. Do not look. Do not leave room B. Do not disobey. The door handle twisted again, harder this time. I backed up to the corner of the room, eyes glued to the screen. Still static. The handle stopped. A few moments later, the screen flickered back on. The creature was sitting again, motionless, hair back down, face hidden. The timestamp read 1:24 a.m. I stayed like that for the next few hours, too afraid to blink. I didn't even press the green button. At exactly 3:59 a.m., the screen went black. Then the voice came back. You may leave. Do not speak of this. You will be contacted. When I stepped back into the hallway, the red door at the end opened by itself again. The SUV was waiting outside. No one said anything on the ride back. When I got home, I found $5,000 in my crypto wallet. No message, no sender, just there. It's been 3 days. I haven't told anyone. I haven't slept right. And yesterday, I noticed a strange flicker on my bedroom security cam. A moment of static. Then, blue. Deep, unnatural blue. Just for a second. And then, it was gone. When I woke up the next morning, sunlight was coming through the blinds in that harsh, too bright way that makes your stomach twist. For a minute, I almost convinced myself it had been a dream, until I saw the little sticky note on my kitchen counter. You followed instructions. Wait for contact. No envelope. Just the note, stuck to the counter exactly where I'd set my keys the night before. The handwriting was printed, mechanical, every letter identical, like it had been traced. I checked my phone. No messages, no calls, but the camera notification light was on, even though I hadn't opened it. That tiny red LED just staring at me. I powered the phone off and left it face down. For the next 2 days, I tried to act normal. Groceries, laundry, Starbucks runs. I even forced myself to scroll through TikTok like nothing happened. But every time I caught a reflection, store window, metal fridge door, bathroom mirror, there'd be a flicker of that same deep blue color. Quick, gone before I could blink. By the third night, I stopped sleeping. At exactly 2:11 a.m., my laptop turned on by itself. No joke. I'd shut the lid, but it chimed like someone hit the power button. The screen was completely black, except for a single white cursor blinking in the center. Then words started typing, slowly, one letter at a time. Shift begins at 3 a.m. Be outside. I slammed the lid shut, but the typing didn't stop. The keys were pressing down by themselves, soft clicks echoing in the silence. I unplugged it, pulled the battery. The clicking stopped, but the cursor burned in my mind long after. And still, I went, because part of me needed to know what I was guarding. Or maybe it was just that same numb, desperate instinct that made me click, apply, in the first place. The SUV was waiting again. Same model, same smell, bleach and coins. But this time, the driver's side window was cracked open just enough for me to see the lower half of a face. Gray skin tone, not pale exactly, but wrong. Like printer paper that's been left in the rain. Lips too thin, unmoving. The voice came from a speaker somewhere near the glove box. Facility 2. No other words during the drive. The second building looked nothing like the first. It wasn't industrial. It was disguised. Like one of those 24-hour dentist offices in a strip mall, complete with a fake neon open sign flickering in the window. Inside, another hallway. Same buzzing lights. Except this time, faint music played through hidden speakers. A slow, warped version of some children's lullaby. Every few feet, there were framed pictures on the walls, stock photos of happy families. All their eyes were blurred out, literally blurred, like someone smudged them in Photoshop and printed them anyway. The intercom crackled again. Room A. New protocol. Do not observe directly. Keep mirror angled toward monitor. The door to room A was half open. Inside was a mirrored wall on the right and a smaller screen on the left, labeled CAM12. The green button was gone. In its place sat a handheld radio. On the monitor, a corridor I didn't recognize. At the end of it stood a door with a blue light pulsing underneath. Every few seconds, the blue light dimmed, then flared, like something behind it was breathing. The radio hissed. When it opens, announce your presence. Do not enter. Wait for it to close. I waited. 3:47 a.m. The door on the screen opened by itself. The blue light spilled out, flooding the hallway until the camera distorted. For half a second, I thought I saw silhouettes moving, thin, jointed, bending wrong. Then the light dimmed, and everything went still again. Presence acknowledged, I said, voice shaking. The radio clicked. Good. Continue observation. That was it. For the next hour, the door opened and closed at random intervals. Each time, that blue glow filled the corridor, washing out everything else. And each time, my reflection in the mirrored wall behind me looked a little different. Smaller pupils, paler skin, lips slightly parted, even though mine were closed. At 4:29 a.m., something changed. The camera started panning on its own, slow, jerky movements, until it pointed straight at another camera mounted in the opposite corner. On its lens, for just a flash, I saw my own face, looking back, except the reflection blinked after I did. Then the monitor went black. The radio crackled again, but this time it wasn't the same robotic voice. It was whispery, almost human, like someone breathing directly into the mic. You shouldn't have looked. Every light in the hallway outside flickered. The lullaby distorted into static, then into something like screaming, slowed down 100 times. I grabbed the radio, trying to get a response, but all I got was that breathing, slow, rhythmic, matching the blue pulse that was now bleeding through the cracks of the mirrored wall. I stumbled back, hit the door. It didn't open. Locked. The blue light grew brighter, leaking through the edges like smoke. The reflection in the mirror was still facing the monitor, but I wasn't. Its mouth was moving now, slow and deliberate. I couldn't hear the words, but I could see them forming. Look behind you. I froze. And then, knocking. Soft at first, then heavier. Someone, or something, was knocking from inside the mirrored wall. The radio snapped alive again. Protocol failure. Exit. Immediately, the door unlocked with a metallic clunk. I didn't wait. I bolted down the hallway, past the eyeless family photos, past the exit door that opened too easily this time. Outside, the SUV was idling. I dove in, slammed the door, and shouted, "Drive!" The driver didn't move. The engine hummed, but we didn't go anywhere. Then, slowly, he turned his head toward me. He didn't have a face, just smooth skin, like the thing from Camera 9. And yet, I swear, I felt him smile. The passenger side window started tinting itself from the edges inward until the entire car was pitch black inside. Only the dashboard remained visible, glowing faint blue. "Observation complete," the voice said. "Third assignment pending." I woke up in my bed. No car, no hallway. Just the sticky note from before, now rewritten. Next, do not sleep with lights off. My phone was back on the nightstand, battery at 100%. New photo in my gallery. A screenshot of a live feed showing my bedroom. Me, asleep. Timestamp, 4:29 a.m. That's where I'm stuck now. Every night since, the lights in my room dim on their own around 4:20, no matter how many bulbs I replace. and the second they hit that dark blue shade, the air starts to hum, like the walls are breathing. I haven't found the courage to look at the mirror after 3 a.m., not since I caught my reflection smiling first. By the fourth night, I'd stopped pretending that any of it could be explained. Every noise in the apartment felt staged. The refrigerator hum, the water heater clicking on, the floorboard creak that always came exactly 2 minutes after 3 a.m. I tried sleeping with all the lights on like the note said, but sometime after midnight, the bulbs dimmed to that same color I'd started calling Surge Blue. No matter what brand I screwed in, they changed. I taped paper over every mirror, every dark surface, even the microwave door, but the static never left. It started in the walls, a faint rhythmic buzz, like an old TV running behind the drywall. The sound came with a pattern, 3 long bursts, 2 short, then silence. After 2 nights of that, I recorded it on my laptop and ran it through a sound to image converter, just to prove I wasn't losing it. The waveform spelled something that looked almost like letters. 9. ABLUE. I didn't want to see what came next, but at 3 a.m., the file reopened on its own. The spectrogram shifted, forming a new word, observe. I tried to leave the apartment that night, packed a bag, threw on a hoodie, and headed for the stairwell. But when I opened the door, the hallway outside wasn't the same one I'd seen for years. The carpet was gone, replaced with polished white tile. The air smelled like antiseptic. The walls had that same beige color as the facility. And in the distance, under the humming lights, I could see cameras mounted every 20 feet, turning in perfect unison toward me. The intercom sound came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Assignment 3. Home observation protocol initiated. Do not attempt to exit. The hallway blinked just once, and when the light steadied again, I was back inside my apartment. Same door, same floor, but my suitcase was gone. The next morning, my TV turned itself on to a security feed. Not a channel, not an HDMI input, just static forming a slow, swirling pattern that eventually resolved into a grainy view of my living room from above. The camera angle didn't exist in real life. There was no place in the ceiling where it could be mounted. Still, it tracked me whenever I moved. I unplugged the TV. The screen stayed on. In the lower right corner, new text appeared. Subject number 19. Behavioral deviation. Curiosity detected. I couldn't breathe. The blue light bled through the pixels, outlining the edges of the room like a blueprint. My silhouette appeared on the screen, only it didn't move when I did. It just stood there, watching. Then it lifted its hand and touched the side of its face. The skin rippled, like static underwater. Beneath it, faint white shapes shifted, almost faces within faces. At 4:11 a.m., the radio from Facility 2 crackled to life, even though I'd left it buried under clothes in the closet. Observation incomplete. Prepare for collection. I didn't wait. I ran to the window, planning to scream for help, or at least get some air, but the street outside wasn't Atlanta anymore. It looked like a backlot, rows of identical buildings under a motionless sky. The moon hung perfectly centered, not moving, not changing size. Every window across from mine glowed the same dull blue. One window, directly opposite, had someone standing in it. Same height as me, same hoodie. When I raised my arm, he raised his half a second later. A lag, like a live stream. Then he stepped closer to the glass, and I saw the difference. His eyes, if that's what they were, weren't eyes at all. Just 2 thin lines of static, flickering like tiny TV screens. That's when the power cut. Everything went black except for the faint hum from inside the walls. I groped for my phone, turned on the flashlight, and froze. There were footprints on the floor. Wet, perfect prints, leading from the living room to my bedroom. Not mine. Too long, too narrow, like someone had stretched the shape of a foot until it didn't fit a human. The blue glow flared under my doorframe. The radio hissed again, voice now distant, distorted. Containment failure. Subject merging. The door handle turned. I backed into the kitchen and grabbed the nearest thing with weight. My old cast iron pan. The air around me vibrated, like pressure before a thunderstorm. The door opened halfway, and the blue light spilled out, soft at first, then blinding. Through the glare, I saw movement. Thin arms, too many joints, bending wrong, but slow, deliberate. They brushed against the paper I'd taped over the hallway mirror, and the paper peeled itself away, like it had never been taped at all. In the mirror's surface was not my reflection, but the hallway from Facility 1, the exact same angle, same steel door labeled B. The creature, or whatever it was, stepped forward. Its outline melted into the reflection until it wasn't on my side anymore. It was inside the mirror, standing where I had once sat, watching camera 9. And then the mirror started recording. Not showing, recording. A little red light blinked in the corner. Every blink came with that sound again. 3 long, 2 short. I screamed for it to stop, and the red light froze, mid-blink. "Do not speak," whispered the voice behind me. I turned. Empty room. The blue light vanished like someone flipped a switch. Morning. I woke up on the kitchen floor, sunlight pouring in, everything normal again, except my laptop screen was on. Another email. Payment processed. Session complete. Next task. Pending confirmation. File attached. Subject number 20. The attachment was a video. It showed me sleeping, time-stamped for that same night. At the 30-second mark, something leaned into the frame. Not the faceless thing, something wearing my face. It whispered to the camera, "He's learning." Then it smiled, the exact way the driver had smiled, and the feed cut to blue. I stopped opening my laptop for 2 days after that video. But the thing about curiosity is that it doesn't fade. It just sits behind your ribs until it hurts. On the 3rd night, I gave in and searched the phrase that had started all of this. Anonymous contractual work. Verified. Nothing. Not on Google, not on Tor. Every trace of the site had vanished like it had never been there. Even the cached version was gone. So I started searching fragments from the emails. That's when I found the forum. It was buried under 1,000 dead links, an archived Reddit thread from 2018 titled r/job finder gone wrong. Only 5 comments were visible. One of them was from a deleted user who wrote, "If you get the blue contract, don't finish the 3rd shift. The walls record. The pay isn't money." Another comment below it. "They told me to monitor camera 6. Now the feed is showing my house." Then a mod note. Thread locked. User accounts deleted. When I clicked the usernames, they all redirected to a single page with plain text. 404. Observer verified. Every time I refreshed, the background color deepened from gray to blue. That night, I noticed new things around my apartment. The coffee machine turned on by itself at exactly 4 a.m. and brewed a full pot, though I hadn't filled the water tank. Every time the steam rose, it spelled faint letters on the stainless steel backsplash, like breath on glass. Stayaywake. I unplugged it, left the apartment, and went to a 24-hour McDonald's just to be around people. But even there, something felt off. The cashier didn't blink. Literally. Her eyes tracked me, unbroken, as she slid a cup across the counter. The receipt had no numbers, just a line of text. Room C active. I left the cup on the table and walked out, heart hammering. When I checked my wallet later, there was no receipt, but a small square of plastic the size of a SIM card, bright blue, tucked between my bills. Engraved on it, C19. I didn't sleep. By morning, I was combing through company registries, looking for any legal entity tied to that color. Every search for C19 Holdings, C19 Labs, or even C19 Security redirected to the same result: a shell company registered in Delaware under the name Panoptic Data Solutions. The listed address was a P.O. box, but the contact number still worked. When I called, a pre-recorded voice answered, "Panoptic Data Solutions. All calls are recorded for quality assurance. Observer number 19, verification in progress. Please remain still." I hung up immediately, but my phone didn't disconnect. The line stayed open. In the background, I could hear the same hum as the facility lights. Then a whisper, my own voice, looping back through the receiver. "Why did you look? Why did you look? Why did you look?" I threw the phone against the wall. It kept ringing. Around 3 a.m. that night, my apartment lights flickered and went dark except for the TV. A live feed appeared. Me, sitting on the couch, real time. Only behind the me on the screen, there was movement in the kitchen. A tall shadow peeling itself from the corner, unfolding into human shape. On the screen, it placed one hand on my shoulder. I felt nothing, but the version of me on TV flinched. Then both of us turned our heads in perfect sync toward the camera. The feed cut to a blue screen with white text. Session 4. Mirroring successful. The TV powered off by itself. When the lights came back on, my reflection in the black screen lingered half a second too long. I decided to leave the city, packed whatever I could fit in a backpack, and drove north without a map, just moving. Gas stations, diners, motels. Every place felt staged. The same brand of hand soap in every bathroom. The same coffee brand. The same billboard. Panoptic, seeing the future, clearly, appearing every 50 miles. Even the radio only played static, with faint, almost words beneath it. Somewhere in Tennessee, the static formed a phrase I could finally understand. Return to observation. All roads loop, and they did. No matter what direction I drove, I passed the same gas station again at sunrise. The same car parked in the corner. The same blue SUV. The final straw came in a roadside motel near a dried-up lake. Old room, buzzing neon outside, walls thin enough to hear the next guest breathing. I set my phone on the nightstand, screen down. At 2 a.m., it vibrated once. New message, no number, no sender. Just a video thumbnail labeled Mirrorlog-19. When I opened it, the image was grainy, shot from overhead. It showed the motel room I was in, but older, wallpaper peeling, furniture covered in dust. In the center of the bed sat someone wearing my clothes, hair longer, face gaunt. He looked up at the camera and said, I stopped running. Then he lifted his arm and revealed a tattoo on the inside of his wrist, C19. I looked down at my own wrist. The skin itched. Under the surface, faintly, was the same outline, like ink trying to rise to the top. I drove until morning and ended up back in Atlanta anyway. Every route bent back here. When I reached my building, the front door was open. Inside, everything was gone. Furniture, curtains, even the dust. The apartment was an empty white cube. At the center of the floor sat a single chair facing a monitor. The screen glowed blue. Words scrolled across in the same sterile font as that first job posting. Final contract, permanent observation. Press confirm to commence. Below it, a single key, already glistening with fingerprints that looked like mine. I should have run. I wanted to. But my body moved on its own. The key slid into a slot I hadn't noticed. The monitor's blue deepened until it swallowed the room. Now I'm writing this from somewhere that looks exactly like my apartment, but isn't. The walls hum constantly. When I look out the window, it's just rows of other windows with people sitting in identical rooms, staring at identical screens. Every so often, one of them disappears. The blue light flares, and the chair is empty. I don't know how long I've been here. Hours, days, maybe years. The clock on the wall always reads 3 a.m. A new line of text just appeared on the screen in front of me. Subject number 19 complete. Recruitment of number 20 initiated. The camera light above the monitor turned red. It's recording. And if you're still reading this, if you're seeing these words anywhere online, it means the file has already found you. Check your reflection. If it lingers a little too long this time, you'll know which part you've become. Have you ever looked into a mirror and felt like the reflection was watching you first? Not just copying you, but waiting, like it already knew what you were going to do. That's the feeling I live in now, permanently. Not fear, not paranoia, recognition. The monitor in the white room plays on loop. No controls, no pause button, just endless footage that makes no sense until it does. Some clips show people I've never met walking through department stores, gas stations, public restrooms, always alone, always under dim blue lights. Some clips are older, film grain, VHS distortion, black and white footage of families smiling with no mouths, and some clips. Some are from inside my skull. There's no other way to explain it. The angle is too close. The audio is my breath. I see things I've never seen from the outside, scenes from my own life, only wrong. My first apartment, my last birthday, my childhood living room, each one with an extra person in the room, not interacting, just standing in the corner, outlined in blue, watching. I've stopped eating. The hunger fades here eventually. You get this sensation that your body is just a memory being replayed, and eventually you forget what the original felt like. But the mind doesn't go numb. That's the part they keep warm, too warm. Every 3 hours, a door appears in the far wall, the same door with the same red handle. You open it, and it leads to somewhere familiar. But after something has happened, like walking through a crime scene where your name is written on the walls in your own handwriting. One time, it was a Starbucks, empty, except every menu item had been replaced with contract codes: caramel macchiato, mirror sink -4B, mocha frappuccino, facial drift log 9. My name was on the receipt before I even ordered. Eventually, I started answering the screen, not talking, thinking. Every thought I form now shows up on screen half a second later, like the monitor is reading directly from my skull. No delay, no filter. And then, one day, someone answered back, in thought, not speech, not audio, just raw signal, the same way a memory flashes before you can stop it. You are subject 19. Now you are observer. Now you are we. They showed me the other rooms, all 73,000 of them, rows upon rows of white cells, each with a chair and screen, each occupied by someone who used to be a person. Some still fight it. They scream or claw at the floor until their hands stop being hands. Some have become perfectly still. Their screens no longer glow, but the walls remember them. I asked once, silently, "Who made this?" The screen didn't reply, but the monitor faded into an image I can't erase. A map of the Earth. Thousands of blinking red dots forming a ring around the globe, like a digital noose. And one blinking center, deep in the Pacific Ocean. Coordinates 0.00, negative 160.00. Below it, Origin Facility, Blue Room 1. I don't know if it was real or something planted, but that was the first time I felt it. That pull, like a current under my skin, dragging me towards something ancient, something awake. The screen glitched again and showed a still frame, a door underwater, half buried in black sand. Something was moving behind it, and then I heard a voice in a language I'd never heard, but still understood. You looked. Now you become. I woke up screaming in the middle of a Target bathroom. No idea how I got there. No phone, no wallet. Just the clothes on my back and a receipt in my pocket with the number C19 circled at the top. And the date was 2 weeks into the future. The second I stepped out into the aisles, the overhead lights turned blue. Every customer stopped moving. Every head turned toward me at the exact same time, like puppets on a single wire. And then they all whispered in perfect sync. Observer located. Integration required. I ran. No one followed. That was worse. They didn't need to, because every reflection after that showed two of me. One blinking, one not. I stayed in motels. I stayed in public. I stayed moving. But the world had already rewritten itself around me. Panoptic ads started showing up in places they shouldn't have existed. A subway station in a town without a subway. A billboard above a preschool with the words, "Your children are already seen." A cereal box with a QR code. When scanned, it opened a live feed of the back of my own head. A week ago, I decided to find the others. There had to be others. I went back to that abandoned subreddit thread and looked again. This time, there was a new post. For subject number 20, if you've seen the blue, it's too late. The post was from my own account. I didn't write it. At least, I don't remember writing it. The truth is, I'm not sure if I was hired or created. Maybe there never was a contract. Maybe Panoptic didn't find people. They just copy them. Observe, record, mirror, replace. I found another file on my laptop today, titled For Next. Inside is a video. A person sitting in a chair, staring at a monitor. They look just like me. Same hair, same clothes. But the timestamp is from 3 days from now. The camera zooms in slowly until you can't see the screen anymore, just their face. And right before the feed cuts, they lean into the lens and whisper, "You're next." Then, a blue flash and silence. If you're reading this, if this file found you, then the system has already tested your curiosity. That's how it starts, with one click, one glance, one night shift, one camera, and then you're in, not working for them, becoming them. So go ahead, look in the mirror, see if your reflection blinks second. If it does, you've already been seen, and they never stop watching. End of file. Panoptic, record, subject 20 initialized. Welcome, observer. I found a dark web livestream that only shows people before they die. I recognized my best friend on it. Alright, so I don't even know where to begin with this. I've never posted anything on Reddit before, let alone r/no sleep. But this feels different. This isn't just some weird story or glitch in the Matrix kind of thing. This is something real. It happened. And I genuinely think I'm being watched now because of it. If I go missing, you'll know why. So, a bit of context first. I'm 21, live in Chicago, not far from a busy strip filled with fast food joints and 24-hour gas stations. You know, the usual sketchy stuff you walk by and try not to make eye contact at night. I live with my roommate, Jordan, who's been my best friend since we were like 10. We both work night shifts at different places. He's in a warehouse over on the south side. I work at this tech support call center. Nothing glamorous, just enough to keep the lights on and the Wi-Fi going. Anyway, a few weeks ago, Jordan got really into this whole exploring the deep web thing. He watched a bunch of YouTubers like Nexpo, Rainbot, and all those creepy compilation vids with the distorted voices and stock horror music. At first, it was kind of funny. Like, haha, let's find some black market pickle vendors or cursed websites that sell haunted dolls. But then it got darker. The night it all started, it was a Friday night. I remember because I'd just gotten off work and picked up food from that sketchy McDonald's near the gas station with the flickering lights. You know the one. The fries were cold, but whatever. I walked in and found Jordan glued to his laptop, not even acknowledging me when I dropped the food on the counter. "Yo," I said, tossing him a box of nuggets. Nothing. "Dude, chicken." Inbound, still nothing. I leaned over and saw his screen. It was mostly black, with a tiny rectangle in the center, showing a video feed. Grainy as hell. Looked like security footage. The only light came from a lamp hanging over a desk. And sitting at the desk, a guy. Late 20s, maybe. Looked super normal, which somehow made it worse. He was just sitting there, breathing, twitching a little, eyes darting around like he knew someone was watching him, or like he was watching someone else. I couldn't tell. "What is this?" I asked. Jordan didn't answer at first. Then, barely above a whisper, he goes, "It only shows people 24 hours before they die. The rule of the site." Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like pure creepypasta nonsense. I thought the same thing at first. I laughed. I said, "What? Like The Ring, but on dial-up?" But Jordan wasn't laughing. He just stared at the screen, his mouth slightly open like he was hypnotized. He told me he found this site by accident, supposedly through a hidden forum someone linked on a Discord server about ARGS. You know, those alternate reality game things people get way too into. It was called Terminal 0.black. You couldn't access it with normal browsers. Tor only. Obviously. Once you're in, you don't get a menu. No user interface. No ads. Just a stream. 24/7. The same style every time. One camera, a single person, always indoors. The timer in the corner ticks down from 24 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, and when it hits 0, the screen cuts to black, and then someone new appears. Every person on the stream dies, supposedly. Jordan claimed he tracked it for 5 days. No repeats, no reruns. Different faces, different rooms, different cities. One was in a Tokyo apartment. You could tell by the writing on the takeout containers. One was in what looked like a Walmart break room in Kansas. He Google mapped the emergency exit poster in the background. Yeah, he's that guy. but all of them were gone once their countdown ended, like legit missing or confirmed dead. Jordan reverse searched their faces using some sketchy photo recognition site and found local news blurbs, obituaries, even Reddit AMAs about missing persons. It was insane. I told him it was probably fake, but the thing is, it wasn't. The details were too real. One guy was found floating in Lake Ontario. Another supposedly OD'd in a hotel bathroom in Las Vegas. Same dates, same timelines. It was all too lined up. Still, I tried to shake it off, until 2 nights later. The face. I knew I was coming back from a late-night Starbucks run. Don't judge. Pumpkin cream cold brew slaps, even at 2 a.m. Jordan was in his room again, glued to the screen. He hadn't shaved, hadn't showered, looked pale as hell. "What now?" I asked. "Another victim?" He didn't say anything. I walked over, and that's when I saw it. My blood went cold. Sitting on the stream, right there in the middle of the camera, was a familiar face. It was Jordan. Same hoodie he was wearing that night. Same posters on the wall behind him. The GTA 6 teaser, the old My Chemical Romance one from high school. The timer above his head read 23, 56, 14. I laughed at first. Not even joking. I thought he'd figured out how to loop his webcam feed into the stream or something as a joke. But he wasn't laughing. He hadn't touched his laptop. He was watching it with me. And he was on the screen, live. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even blink for more than 10 seconds at a time. I just sat in the hallway, knees to my chest, trying not to throw up, while my best friend, the guy I'd shared a dorm room with in college, who once cried over a Shrek 2 rewatch because he was high out of his mind, just stared at a screen that showed him slowly, counting down. That timer was eating away his life like clockwork. Every second it ticked down, it was like we were watching a bomb attached to his soul. 23, 45, 0, 0. 23, 40, 0, 0. 23, 35, 0, 0. It didn't matter if we unplugged the router. We tried. Nothing changed. Jordan's face still hovered there, motionless, breathing. On 2 screens now. His laptop and mine. I hadn't even opened a browser yet, but it was playing in the corner of my display, like a pop-up you couldn't close. The stream, the timer, Jordan. Except, it wasn't exactly him. Something was wrong with the stream version. It's gonna sound insane, but if you've ever had sleep paralysis and stared at your own reflection during it, you might understand what I mean. There was a wrongness in the version of him on the stream. It wasn't that he looked different. No, that was the problem. He looked exactly the same. Same messy hair, same hoodie, same mole on the left side of his jaw. But the way he breathed was just off, shallow, mechanical, like someone imitating breath. And his eyes didn't blink, not once. He just stared dead into the camera, his lips slightly parted like he wanted to scream, but didn't know how. We tried to reset the laptop. Blue screen. We tried uninstalling Tor. Didn't matter. The feed kept coming back, not just in browsers now. It hijacked my TV. It played on our Nest Hub. It popped up in the rear view mirror cam in Jordan's car when we tried to drive to the police. Everywhere we looked, he was staring back, like a walking obituary. The police visit. We did try to get help. I want to be really clear about that. We drove straight to the nearest police station, burst through the glass doors like maniacs, screaming about a death threat live stream, about Jordan being targeted, something about human trafficking or snuff sites. I didn't even care how crazy we sounded. You know what the officer said? "You boys on drugs or something? You smell like weed and fear." We weren't high. They took our names, made us sit on a plastic bench in a corner. The fluorescent lights above us buzzed louder than the whispers in my head at that point. An officer, maybe mid-30s, bored look, too much Axe body spray, walked us into the back to show him the site. We opened my laptop. Nothing. No stream. No timer. No Jordan. Just Reddit, Instagram, Spotify. Normal as hell. I swore. I begged him to believe us. I offered to show him my Nest Hub history. But Jordan just stood there, silent, pale, staring into the corner of the room like he could still see the timer. The officer ended up telling us to get some rest and lay off the conspiracy podcasts. We left feeling more insane than before. The masked man at Starbucks. We stopped at a Starbucks on the way home. It was one of those new ones with all glass walls inside a Target. The kind of place that makes you feel more exposed than caffeinated. Jordan didn't order anything. He just sat by the window, twitching, tapping his leg, whispering numbers. It took me a second to realize he was reciting the countdown from memory. 22:09:10, 22:08:59. I went to get us both water. When I came back, there was a guy sitting 2 tables over. He looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. Skinny, bald, sunglasses indoors, hoodie zipped to his throat, even though it was 75 degrees. But what chilled me wasn't him. It was his laptop. He was watching the stream. And it wasn't Jordan anymore. It was someone else. A girl this time. Blonde, maybe 14 or 15. Tied to a chair in a room with red light bulbs. Timer, 24 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. I blinked, confused, then glanced back at Jordan. He was still on the stream on my phone. Still alive. Still ticking down. I turned back to the man's laptop. Gone. Screen black. He closed it. Then, he smiled at me. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile that says, "I know something you don't, and it's already too late." And then he mouthed something. I don't speak sign language. I don't lip read well. But I swear to God, I saw it. "You'll be next." The night Jordan died, we got home around 9 p.m. The apartment felt colder, like the walls were listening. Jordan didn't speak for an hour. He just laid on the couch, hoodie pulled over his face, headphones in. I tried to distract myself, played Xbox, scrolled TikTok, tried not to glance at the stream that kept appearing in the background of my screen like a watermark. I was watching some stupid GTA 6 leak when I heard it. A loud bang, not a gunshot, something heavier, like a human skull hitting tile. I ran into the kitchen. Jordan was gone. But the front door, wide open, the feed changed. I ran back to my laptop. The stream was still on, but now it was a dark hallway. No timer, no sound, just a hallway. Long concrete walls, flickering ceiling lights, like a hospital basement. At the far end of the hallway was Jordan, naked, shivering, his back facing the camera. Something crawled behind him, fast, like an animal, but with too many legs. It was too dark to see what it was. I screamed at the screen, "Turn around! Run! Run!" He didn't move. Then the lights started popping one by one from the end of the hallway toward him, like dominoes, darkness swallowing everything. And then I saw it. Right before the last light went out, the thing behind him stood up. Not on legs, on arms. It was human-shaped, but wrong. Completely skinned. No face, no eyes, just muscle and teeth. The screen went black. The final footage. At exactly 10:02 p.m., My phone buzzed with a push notification from an unknown app I never installed. Viewer number 2137. Thank you for watching. When I opened it, there was one video, only 5 seconds long, no title. I pressed play. It was my kitchen, from my ceiling corner, like there was a camera up there, and Jordan standing in the center, facing the wall, mumbling. Then something stepped into frame behind him, not walking, just appearing, in the blink of a frame. And then Jordan vanished, gone. No fade, no scream, just empty air. I haven't told anyone about this in person, not my coworkers, not my mom, not even Jordan's girlfriend, who keeps texting me, asking why he hasn't answered for 3 days. I lied to her. I said he left town after a panic attack, but I know the truth. He died before the timer hit 0. The stream lied. It never shows when you die. It just shows the last time you'll ever be seen alive. And now, there's a new face on the stream. It's a girl in Argentina. She's sitting on her bed, holding a stuffed panda, eyes red like she's been crying. The timer above her head reads 23:57:04. I don't know who she is, but I know what's going to happen. And I know what's worse. I just got a second notification. You have been promoted to viewer number 2136. Congratulations. It's been 3 days since Jordan disappeared. 3 days since I watched him vanish on a stream that shouldn't exist. 3 days since I became viewer number 2136. Let that number burn into your head. Because if you ever see a notification like that on your phone, no matter what app it comes from, no matter if you recognize it or not, you're already dead. You just don't know it yet. The first sign. I didn't leave my apartment for the first 24 hours. I couldn't. It wasn't fear. It was something worse. Something deep. Paralyzing. Like my nervous system had been unplugged from the inside out. I was just sitting there, cross-legged in the dark, my laptop still open, the screen looping static, and the words, preparing the next stream. It looped over and over like a cursed YouTube channel from 2007, frozen in pre-broadcast mode. But the second the countdown hit 000, the screen blinked. And this time, it wasn't some random face. It was me. The streams showed me, sleeping. I wasn't even looking at the screen when it started. I only noticed because I heard a sound, not from the laptop, from the corner of my room, like a light tap, like someone slowly pressing their nail against drywall. I spun around. Nothing. But on the laptop, there I was, on camera, lying on my bed, shirtless, sheets half on, phone on the pillow. The camera angle was above me. There's nothing on my ceiling, no cameras, no mirrors, no vents. But the stream was showing a live, overhead view of me sleeping. I turned to look at my actual bed, empty, but the stream was still playing. That's when I realized it wasn't live. It was a recording of a night I had no memory of. And in the corner of the screen, a timestamp, 2:43 a.m., Monday. That's the night after Jordan vanished. I was supposed to be awake all night. I remember scrolling on TikTok until 6 a.m. I remember not sleeping, but there I was, completely unconscious. And then, something moved in the corner of the footage. A hand, long, pale, fingers too long. It crept from behind my dresser, like a puppet unraveling from a bag of flesh. I couldn't see its face. The camera glitched every time it got close. But what it did was worse than anything I've ever seen. It didn't attack me. It didn't scream, or stab, or strangle. It just stood there, and leaned in, right over my face, almost like it was smelling me. Then it opened its mouth, not to speak, to inhale, like it was breathing me in. And then I just disappeared. Not faded, not cut. I literally flickered out of existence. The burned thumb drive. That morning, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address, no stamp. Just a black envelope taped shut with surgical tape. Inside, a single thumb drive. Burned around the edges. Melted. I only got it open with pliers and a flathead screwdriver. Plugged it into my junk laptop. The only thing on the drive was a folder titled 2136_proof. Inside were screenshots. Hundreds. Every single one of them taken from that stream. Each showed different people. Crying, bleeding, hiding in closets, sitting in classrooms, in the back of Uber rides, eating McDonald's, walking down aisles at Walmart. Some were clearly asleep. Some were begging directly into the camera. Each one had a countdown in the corner, and every one of them was gone. I Googled every face, every single one, dead, missing, obituary posted, GoFundMe links, Amber alerts. One guy, this part has stuck with me more than anything, was a pastor. Last seen giving a sermon in New Orleans. He vanished in the middle of a live stream sermon. Footage went viral. He was standing at the pulpit, mid-sentence, and just gone. Right in front of 127,000 viewers. My countdown begins. That night, I checked my phone. That damn app, the one that sent me the first notification, it wasn't installed anymore, but it was still sending me alerts. I checked my lock screen. Your stream begins in 0, 2 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. I couldn't move. Not because I didn't want to, but because someone was in my apartment. I felt them. You know, that primal, nauseating dread when someone is behind you. When your body just knows before your brain confirms it. I turned slowly. Nothing. But on the mirror, in red marker I never bought, were the words, "Don't look away during the stream." I tried to tell someone. I screen recorded everything. The app, the notifications, the screenshots. I uploaded it all to a throwaway Google Drive. Then I called the only person who might have believed me. An old Reddit mod I knew who once got doxxed for exposing a human trafficking sub. He told me one thing before he hung up. If the stream showed you, you're not the viewer anymore. You're the product. Then he deleted his Reddit account. His phone number disconnected the next day. His YouTube channel wiped, and the drive I uploaded gone. Violation of terms. Google deleted it like it never existed. The girl with no teeth. That night, the stream went live again. This time, I didn't recognize the girl, but I recognized her bedroom because I'd been there. It was the room of a girl I met on Hinge 3 months ago. Emily. We never hooked up. We just talked. But I went to her place once to drop off her charger. Her room had this pink Himalayan salt lamp, a weird anime poster with something in Japanese I couldn't read, and this ugly purple lava lamp that never worked. And there it all was, on screen. But the girl wasn't Emily. She had the same build, same hair, but her face was like someone had tried to build it from memory. No teeth, just raw gums, and her eyes were completely still. No blinking, no darting, not even tracking the camera. The timer was 23:58:01. She didn't move the entire time. But at 00:00:03, the camera zoomed in on her mouth, and you could hear it. Wet chewing. But she wasn't chewing anything. The gums were just grinding. like two pieces of meat mashing into each other. Then she smiled, and my power cut out. My face is not my face. Last night, I went into the bathroom just to splash water on my face. I looked in the mirror, and I swear to God, I didn't recognize myself. It looked like me, but stretched, bloated in weird places. My left eye sat slightly higher than the right. My jaw was wider, my teeth too long. The skin around my neck looked like it had been pulled over something larger and sewn shut at the base. I blinked. My reflection didn't. I moved left. It moved right. Then it leaned in, eyes wide, and mouthed, 2,135. I dropped the glass. It shattered on the floor, and the reflection smiled. The final entry. I'm writing this in a hotel in Toronto. Why Toronto? I don't know. I got in my car and drove until I couldn't anymore. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Haven't blinked in 10 minutes. Because the stream, it's on every screen now. Gas station pump TVs, airport terminals, drive-through menus, even the giant screen in Times Square. Someone sent me a video on Snapchat. My face. On the stream. Timer. 0 hours, 0 minutes, 6 seconds. The last notification I got. Recording now, active. Viewer count. 1,092,446. It's not just the dark web anymore. It's spreading. And if you've seen any part of this, you're probably already on the list. I haven't blinked in 4 days. I know that sounds like an exaggeration. Some overdramatic creepypasta punchline to keep the tension going. But no, I'm telling you the exact, literal truth. I haven't blinked because the moment I close my eyes, even for a second, the stream moves closer, like physically, spatially, like it's stepping toward me, as if it's in the same room, but just hiding behind the air itself. It's in my eyelids now. I see the timer, burned into the backs of them, floating over my own body, counting down the exact moment I vanish. I'm not writing this to warn you anymore. I'm writing this to document what happens when your soul is stripped away in 1080p. I checked into a hotel, the wrong one. After Toronto, I ran. I drove for 14 hours straight. No music, no snacks, just energy drinks and tunnel vision. My face was pale in the rearview mirror the entire time. I didn't look like myself. My lips weren't moving, but I kept hearing breathing, not mine. A rhythm that didn't match the gasps I was sucking in between sips of Red Bull. When I got to Milwaukee, I checked into this 3-star place that looked fine online. Modern lobby, complimentary breakfast, security cameras in the halls. Reviews were normal. That was important to me. Normality. I paid in cash. No name, no cards, no trail. Room 313. I still remember the carpet outside the door. Red, stained with something black that had crusted over into the shape of a child's handprint. I told myself it was mud, but I don't think I believed that. Not even then. The mirror stream. The room was fine. Too fine. Everything was pristine. Perfect folds in the bedspread. The scent of sterile lemon, like it had been deep cleaned after a murder. TV bolted to the wall. Curtains sealed shut with a magnetic edge. The remote didn't work, so I turned the TV on manually. And the moment the screen lit up, the stream was already playing. Not Netflix, not cable, not HDMI. The stream, my stream. There I was, sitting on the edge of the hotel bed, frozen, staring at the camera I couldn't see. But here's the thing, I hadn't sat down yet. The TV was showing a future version of me that hadn't happened yet. And above my head, the timer read 00:07:13. The walls weren't real. I backed away from the TV, and that's when I noticed something off about the wallpaper. It was breathing, not metaphorically, not, oh, it felt like it. I mean, the wallpaper literally swelled and contracted like a lung, a slow inhale that pushed out the floral pattern like blisters, followed by a long exhale that rattled the lamp. I pressed my hand against the wall, and it was warm, not room temperature, not body heat, feverish. Then the wall whispered something I still don't understand. Viewer 2136. Accept your likeness. What they did to my face. At 2:11 a.m., I passed out in the bathtub. I didn't fall asleep. I blacked out, like the way all computers shut off when they overheat. I woke up to the sound of static, not from the TV this time, but from the mirror. Yeah, the mirror was emitting white noise, like an old CRT monitor, and etched into the foggy glass, in blood I don't remember bleeding, were the words, "Your face is not your own." And it wasn't. I looked closer. My mouth didn't line up with my jaw. My skin had folds where there shouldn't be any, behind my ears, along the chin, under the eyes, not wrinkles, seams, and worse, when I touched one of them, it twitched. The footage in my inbox. When I finally got the guts to check my phone, I had 17 new emails, all from different addresses. Each one was a Dropbox link. No subject, no sender, no explanation. I shouldn't have opened them, but I did. All of them. Each one contained surveillance footage. Me. Hundreds of clips of me. Grocery shopping, brushing my teeth, getting on a bus I never remember riding. One showed me in a Macy's fitting room, just standing there shirtless, unmoving, staring at a blank wall for over an hour. But the most disturbing clip, it was time-stamped yesterday. It was my hotel room, me, asleep, and something watching from the ceiling, pressed flat against it like a spider with too many elbows, skinless, faceless, smiling without lips. And at the very end of the clip, it unhinged from the ceiling and dropped down silently behind me. Fade to black. What I saw at the gas station. I left the hotel at 3:36 a.m. without checking out. Didn't grab my stuff. Left the laptop, phone, everything. I needed to be offline. No screens, no cameras. I walked 8 miles to a 24/7 gas station near a truck stop. Used cash to buy a burner phone. The cashier never looked me in the eye. He just asked, "You streaming right now?" I asked what he meant. He just pointed behind me. There was a TV mounted in the corner, above the fridge full of energy drinks and overpriced water bottles. The stream. My face. Live. Broadcasting from inside the gas station. Except I wasn't holding a phone. There was no camera. No one was filming me. And worse, the stream version of me turned and looked directly into the camera, tilted its head 90 degrees, and grinned with teeth that weren't mine. The feed glitched, then cut to black. The subway girl. I don't even know how I ended up in New York. I remember walking, then buses, then waking up in a subway bathroom stall with a nosebleed and an old flip phone in my pocket that didn't belong to me. The wallpaper was a photo of Jordan, smiling, except his eyes were scratched out with a knife, digitally, like someone edited the pixels to slice across them. I opened the browser on the phone. It auto-loaded a stream, not mine, a new girl, maybe 19, wearing a blue sweater, crying in a parking garage. Timer, 0 hours, 2 minutes, 56 seconds. I recognized the garage. It was beneath the building I was standing in. I ran. I didn't think. I just ran down the stairwell, 3 floors underground, through the emergency exit, past the broken vending machines, and I found her, curled up, sobbing, whispering, "Don't let them see my eyes." I tried to talk to her. I swear I tried. But when she looked up at me, she had no eyes at all, just smooth, stretched skin, like they'd been erased from her skull. And behind her, I saw them, the faceless people, all of them, watching, filming, no devices, no phones, just standing there, mouths open, black teeth chattering like typewriters. They don't need cameras anymore. I don't think this is a stream anymore. It's not a website. It's not an app. It's a consciousness, a virus, an entity, something born from the weight of every unspoken thought, every deleted comment, every violent subreddit, every whispered urge and silent scream trapped in the back of our skulls. We fed it. Now we are its content. I haven't seen my reflection in days, and yet I know I'm being recorded, not metaphorically, not existentially, literally, constantly, everywhere. The faceless people are multiplying. They don't blink, they don't move. But when you look away for even a second, they're closer. Final transmission. I've been promoted again. New message. Viewer number 2136 has been upgraded to subject number 0000. There is no countdown now. There is only footage. And the last clip I received was of you. Reading this. Right now. Look around you. Anything with a lens. It's already streaming. I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't know what state I'm in. What country. I haven't seen sunlight in at least 4 sleep cycles, but I don't think I'm underground, because I can still hear birds, but they don't sound like birds. They sound like recordings of birds, like someone holding up a cheap speaker and playing a nature YouTube video on loop, just to trick you into thinking you're still in the world. I'm not in your world anymore. The elevator that shouldn't exist. I got into the elevator in a hotel lobby in Pittsburgh, or what I thought was Pittsburgh. I remember the skyline, the wet air, the broken neon Waffle House sign across from the Greyhound stop. I needed to go up. I pressed floor 4. The button flickered, then dimmed. The elevator started going down. I hit every button. Nothing changed. I don't know how long I was inside. There was no floor counter, just a live feed of me, in the top corner of the elevator, staring directly at myself. That stream again. But now, it was on every wall. My movements were no longer synced. I waved my hand. The reflections lagged, then moved on their own, smiling versions of me, one licking its lips, one digging its nails into its face, one crying blood from eyes that were sewn shut. The room with no exit. Eventually, the elevator stopped. The doors opened to a hallway. Not the hotel hallway. This one had no lights, no texture. Just white walls stretching forever in both directions, coated in a layer of something that looked like human breath frozen to glass. I walked. Every step echoed like I was stepping into my own skull. After exactly 2,136 steps. Yes, I counted, don't ask why. I reached a room, unmarked, no knob. The door opened without me touching it. Inside was a single chair, a camera on a tripod, and a live monitor. I walked in. I didn't even hesitate. The contract on the chair was a piece of paper. One sentence. You must become what you fear to escape what you are. There was a pen beneath it. No signature line. Just my name already printed at the bottom. Spelled perfectly. Middle name too. A name I never gave to anyone online. Not even Jordan. What they did to me. I don't remember much after that. I remember the sound of plastic wrapping, like saran wrap being stretched over raw meat. I remember lights behind my eyes, like someone had cut them open and installed bulbs where nerves used to be. I remember voices whispering inside my jaw, inside, like my molars were wired to an intercom system. Subject 0000 initialized. Upload commencing. Please face the mirror for alignment. There was no mirror in the room until I blinked. Then the entire wall turned into glass, and I saw what they had made me. My face was no longer skin. It was pixels, like a deepfake, but real. Digital muscle twitching under synthetic expressions. My smile was someone else's. My eyes changed color every few seconds. My ears flickered like corrupted textures in an indie horror game. And then they asked me to speak. I said one thing. Who's watching? And the wall answered. Everyone. The house. I don't remember walking into the house, but I woke up there. It looked like mine. Same posters, same bed sheets, same coffee mug with the chip in the handle. But it was a replica. Too perfect. Everything in the fridge was frozen in time. Milk with no expiration date. Bread with no smell. Ice that didn't melt. My phone was on the counter. The screen glowed with a familiar message. Begin broadcast. What you're watching. Now you think you're just reading a story, maybe listening to it late at night, lights off, blanket up to your chin, probably alone. But this isn't fiction. This isn't a creepypasta. You've been watching my stream this entire time. Every word you've read, every second you've listened, was footage. You thought it was my point of view. It wasn't. It was yours. They've been testing this for years. Augmented broadcast through written simulation. A text-based virus that embeds itself in your perception. All they needed was a seed, a story, a victim willing to share. And now, here you are, staring at the screen, wondering why your camera light just blinked. The final stream. There's no countdown anymore, no timer, because you've already started. You're the next stream. Look around you. Every reflection, not yours. Every delay in your screen, that's them syncing. You'll start to see the glitches soon. Photos on your phone changing slightly. People blinking twice in a single frame. Your voice out of sync with your mouth. Then you'll feel the seams under your skin, behind your ears, beneath your tongue. They're already inside. The moment you read the word viewer, it embedded. Your mirror will fog differently now. Your devices will begin recording even when they're off. And sometime tonight, you'll get a message. Maybe on your phone, maybe on your smartwatch, maybe carved into your bathroom wall. It will say, your stream begins in 24 hours, and there will be no way to stop it.